New York City, the backdrop. Today we're on Long Island, Hempstead, New York, on the campus of Hofstra University, where two old rivals, Duke and Maryland, get set to go at it. A spot in championship weekend on the line. As we take a look at the bracket, one quarterfinal game in the books. The defending champs, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they stamped their ticket. We'll have one more this afternoon before Syracuse, Denver, Hopkins, and Virginia face off tomorrow in Towson. Hi, everybody. I'm alongside Paul Carcaterra, Chris Cotter, and Carc. Two teams that have played how many times? 83 times?
83 times,
ACC
yes.
rivals. No love lost between these two today.
Old school slugfest, too, when you turn on the tape and watch those old games. And there's two head coaches who've combined for 5 national titles. I look at the 2024 version of both of these teams. There were some low moments and there were some high moments, but if you're a lacrosse fan, you love where both of these teams are right now after watching them in round 1. They were on fire.
And you love the matchup between the reigning Shuart winner and the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in Ajax Zapatello in the Big Ten.
They both have physicality. O'Neal's 6'2", 245 pounds. Ajax is smaller, but he plays the body on goal line extended beautifully. You got the speed game of O'Neal. He could run through you, he could run around you. Zapatello is lethal in transition off of ground balls. He can run the length of the field and make it count. And then the skill component of both of these players is off the charts. Brendan O'Neal is a human highlight reel behind the back, through the legs, he's got it all. And then Zapatello, less flashy than O'Neal, but so structurally sound too. He's a takeaway artist, and he gets ready for the big moment.
Ajax on the left, and Brendan O'Neal on the right. Two of the top 3 draft picks in last week's PLL draft, bright futures in professional lacrosse for them on the horizon. When you think about these two coaches, you know, programs that know each other really well, these two coaches know each other really well as well, Carg. John Tillman, 14 years in College Park, 9 Final Fours, and 7 championship game appearances in that time.
It's crazy. I always say, like, they're the Alabama consistently of college lacrosse, and in terms of a coach that can game plan and scheme and take other teams' top threats out of the mix, that guy's got his PhD in that area.
And then for Duke, John Danowski, the winningest all-time coach in Division I, 3 national championships, and he too, when you think about it, he's in his 18th season at Duke, 12 championship weekend appearances. It's crazy.
He's had an unbelievable run, multiple-time gold-winning head coach for Team USA. And he's back on Long Island, where he coached at this university, Hofstra, for many, many years. He's an Island guy through and through. He's back home trying to get the Blue Devils back to championship weekend.
A big story going into this game, Card, and you talked about it in the open, how both of these teams have shown flashes of brilliance this season. And last weekend, I think, was a microcosm of that. But also, they've also had rough moments. I mean, Maryland came into last week having lost 2 in a row, and Duke came into last weekend coming off a devastating loss to North Carolina in their season, you know, before the ACC tournament.
2 puzzling programs. But what I always go back to is both of these teams at their best are lethal. And they have the ingredients. So look at Maryland. You have a face-off guy in Luke Weirman. Program best statistically. You have Logan McNaney in the pipes, who was the championship game MVP in 2022 when the Terps went undefeated and won a title. You have the lockdown defender in Ajax Zapatello. So all the...
And we'll call their names quite often. Andrew McAdory played his high
in leadership. And then they have a guy that no one else in college lacrosse has in Brendan O'Neal from a talent perspective.
Could see an outstanding matchup right here at this face-off dot. Luke Weirman, who was sensational in Maryland's first-round win against Princeton, taking on Jake Naso, and Duke wins possession off the opening face-off.
And that's huge for Naso and Duke, because Naso was nicked up late in the season, missing some reps. But he's also assisted by an outstanding wing player in Tyler Carpenter, 33 in white.
Aiden Denenza, one of A lot of Long Island players playing on this Duke team. Count is 11 in total, and we'll call their names quite often. Andrew McAdory played his high school lacrosse at St. Anthony's. He'll shoot. The bouncer soaked up that time by McNaney. Here comes Jack McDonald. Kenny Brower applying the pressure immediately defensively for Duke.
This is a Terps unit that struggled to hit double digits 4 of their last 5 regular season games, but the offense came alive in the NCAA tournament last week. Season high 16 goals, and I think Eric Spanos, 7 in black, was a main reason behind that. The switch from midfield back to his natural attack spot.
That's Ryan Syracuse right there. Thought about stepping into his shot. Instead passed it off, but the ball ends up on the turf. And look at Jamison coming out there to scoop it up. Here's O'Neal.
You know, what's interesting is you're not seeing Ajax Zapatello on O'Neal. A lot of times they'll put Zapatello on the pure quarterback of the team, which is Zawada, to take him out of the mix. They feel like the ball has to go through Zawada for this offense really to percolate. So they want Zapatello on him. Canfield is on O'Neal.
Duke gets on the board first, and it's Charles Balsamo who finds the back of the net. Balsamo from Manhasset just down the road puts the Blue Devils up early.
He's back home, he's in his comfort zone, but the turnover. And the freshman Jamison with a heads-up play outside of the cage. Balsamo is the recipient with a left-handed rip. That is big from a confidence perspective for the sophomore, 1 in white. Only 1 assist in the last 9 games. He finds the back of the net early, and we watched him as a freshman. He was a player that had the ball in his stick quite a bit and making plays. And his emergence is huge down the stretch.
Weirman, he can shoot, instead he dishes it off. And Jamison had to make the save on Kelly's rib. Weirman stays in, at least till all the substitutions take place, including Eric Molliver here, 4 with the ball in his cross. He had a great game in the first rounder against Princeton.
He did. Coming out of the box as a midfielder, 3 goals, inverting, heavy dose of behind the cage, dodging.
Syracuse back to his right. Here's Maltz. He'll operate from behind the cage, being checked by Aiden McGuire. One of the top D middies in the country, 23 in white. Extremely athletic. Syracuse. That one was deflected off a defender.
Those are the looks you want. If you're Michael Phipps, the offensive coordinator, and John Tillman, head coach. Get the defense to drift and find those step downs against the freshman Jamison.
Zawada on Zapatello. You mentioned it before, Kark. 1 in black, Ajax Zapatello. He's a 2-time Big Ten Defender of the Year. Going up against Zawada.
I think a lot of people would just assume it's going to be Ajax against Brennan, but they're going to send early help to Brennan, and the big body Canfield will flush him underneath.
Here's Zawada, tried to get it inside to Dyson Williams. That's Williams' spot, 51. Loves operating in traffic. Here he is from X. Up top to McAdory. So they're polling McAdory with McDonald, 51 in black. Now McAdory has the shorty after the big little switch. He's looking to take advantage. Tried to get to the goal, but the help was there. Dyson Williams on the outside. Picks up the rebound, though. How crafty is he when the ball is loose to be able to pick it up in traffic like that?
His box lacrosse background, the innate ability to crash the boards. This is going to be huge, and I'm going to explain this in just a second. McAdory behind the cage.
The short stick defender. Showing his quickness. But defended well by Maryland. Zawada on Ajax. Here's O'Neal. Back to his left. Gets just a little bit of space, and it's enough to find the back of the net. Carc, you and I talk about this. If he gets going early, watch out, because he's the type of player that can feed on success.
He loves the over move, too. You see how they're flushing him to the underneath move. He goes initially to get under and then rolls back. So the slide help isn't there. If he goes under, and I was explaining that earlier, Cotter, Maryland's scheme against O'Neal is to flush him underneath with a quick double. That's why they're playing Canfield on O'Neal. They're going to have a bigger body with help coming. But O'Neal understands that. That's where that team wants him to go. So he plays a little bit of that cat and mouse game in terms of giving them a look at the underneath, but then coming back over the top where he's so lethal with that hammer of a shot.
Big GB by A.J. Larkin. They love using him, that LSM, on the wing for faceoffs for that very reason. See here, they're running Urksa out of the box, 10 in black, as they did last week. He was coming off an injury where he missed a couple of games. He was very effective last week. Inside, that time Whittier couldn't get the shot off before he lost it, but he's tracking down the loose ball, won't get there.
If you're Urksa, 10 in black, you cannot get into the body of Kenny Brower, 29 in white. You got to use your speed. You're one of the fastest straight line dodgers in this game. Play him in space. And Cotter, I was explaining with McAdory behind, Ajax is going to be playing Josh Zawada. So if he takes him out of the mix, where does Duke find their offense from behind? It's McAdory, who's a midfielder who can play attack, and he did that against Syracuse in the ACC tournament. Dominated from behind.
And he's got a shorty on him right in Stamos, at least at the start of the game today. So it's definitely an advantage for number 2 when he's in the game. Here's Jack Pappendick, so second midfield unit on for Duke. Balsamo already has a goal. Uses a hitch to get free, but doesn't have an angle. Here's O'Neal up top. No angle on the shot. He'll take it behind the cage. He's got to love this matchup here for a dodge. Williams, bouncer. McNady, no problems.
When you watch McNady in the cage, he gets his 3rd save of the day. He's so patient, and he never guesses. He sits on shots, he relies on his technique, and he's always stepping to the ball with his hands and feet in unison.
Here's Jack Corrs. Cadillac had a huge game against Princeton as well. 22 in black. They'll use him all over the field. You'll see him on the offensive end, the defensive end. As a wing on faceoffs, he provides instant offense for Maryland in transition. The Terps with more turnovers than good offensive opportunities here.
Wow.
Great check.
What a check by Carpenter.
And again, another turnover for Maryland.
Maryland can't get into sync offensively, and it doesn't help when 33 is roaming the field and preying on the offensive players from Maryland. That time it's Syracuse from Atlanta, Georgia, your hometown, Cotter.
And Duke right back on the attack. Denenza. To McAdory. O'Neal takes the extra step, shoots. McNady makes the save. He's hot early. That's 4 saves.
It concerns you, though, if you're Maryland, because O'Neal's getting top side, and you don't want that. It's just a matter of time he cashes in. When he's looking at the field and he's sweeping and increasing his angle, you want to push him under.
Carc, I'm still waiting for 7 in black. Spanos, you highlighted him when we first got started. He had such a huge game last weekend. Haven't even seen him really touch the ball yet.
The ball has to go through him at X. He's a very two-handed player. 6'4", big frame. We saw him beating defenders from behind the cage and scoring on goal line extended with the right and the left hand last week.
Kelly putting his shoulder into a defender, nowhere to go. Now back behind the cage. Here's Molliver. He's looking to dodge on a shorty. Now help comes, couldn't get it to Spanos, but it'll stay with Maryland as Kelly tracks it down. Good catch on the far side. That was Murphy. Kelly with 10 to shoot. Nowhere to go with it. Here's a step down opportunity for Murphy, and it's wide. Murphy was one of those players that came into the first round last week, Carc, in a terrible shooting slump. A couple of them were able to find the back of the net, so you have to wonder if that can continue this week or whether they'll fall back into shooting, 20% on this like they were on the season. He's streaky. He's at 18% on the season. The Terps as a team under 30% at 29%, 32nd in the nation. You got to make them count. In our first game, we saw Notre Dame, who leads the country in goals per game, but also the top team from a shooting percentage standpoint, making it count. Yeah, Notre Dame coming into the game earlier, shooting 37.5%. Maryland as a team shooting 28.5%. See, this is the matchup with Zawada and Zappatello. Maryland feels they could take the initiator, the best passer from Duke out of the mix. Grant Mitchell playing, but it's Dyson Williams who whips the twine, 51 in white. That's 56 goals on the season. Got the leadership on one end, 5th year. Long stick midfielder, Tyler Carpenter. One of the top scorers in NCAA Lacrosse history. Goes by the name of Williams, Dyson Williams. Yeah, look at the shooting percentage, so much better. You think about what Weirman was able to do. He was dominant. He's off to a good start here. He can shoot too, and he scores! Carc, how many times have we seen it over the years? When Maryland needs a spark, 52 is there to provide it. Last week off the face, it was his passing. He was getting teammates involved with assists. This time he's the goal scorer. You don't want to slide off 52, he'll make you pay. We've seen it time and time again, the evolution of the face-off position with the goal scorers. Will Lynch with a similar G in the first game for Notre Dame. Luke Weirman cashes in. So the Terps' first goal of the day comes from the face-off man. Far from a faux go, he'll stay on and provide offense instantly, and he did there. Now the battle for the ground ball. It'll be won once again by Larkin. These two Fogos, Naso and Weirman, no players from their schools have been as battle-tested as these two. 4-year starters, taken so many critical draws and big spots. The issue with Naso is he's not at 100%. We saw him injured in April, and he's never had the full assortment in terms of his overall face-off play because of the injury. And Weirman taking advantage of it, winning 4 of 5. I just saw Danowski go over and have a word with Naso. Not sure if that's checking to see if he's all right, checking the confidence level. And that's how Maryland will stay in this game. Logan McNaney in the goal, Naso facing off, Zappatello blanketing Zawada. They have the ingredients for an upset. They have the guys to keep it close. Here's Spanos. Looking to get under his defender, Brower. That's a great matchup on the day. Nothing doing. Up top to Maltz, here's Siracusa. One of those players who needs to fire from the outside and be on target for Maryland today. And the big matchup is Spanos, 7 in black, 29 in white. Kenny Brower, an All-American defender.
If you're Spanos, you cannot stop at goal line extended. That's where Brouwer plays his best lacrosse. When you get into a muscle match with him and you try to lean at goal line extended, you got to beat him at X. You got to beat him in the higher parts of the offensive set. I'd watch the tape if you're Eric Spanos on how Pat Cavanaugh beats Kenny Brouwer. He trips him up at X, dodges at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. If you marinate on goal line extended, he will win.
The Terps with 5 turnovers here early. Duke 0. O'Neal here, big time advantage for him. Hands it off to Max Sloat. Swatted to Tenenza near side. Another St. Anthony's product to another one. O'Neal spins. Puts his shoulder to a defender and shoots and scores.
His range is different. Every Duke fan knows that. You might say, oh, he's a little too far out to let this one go. But he soaks checks, and it looks like he's losing his angle, and he finds that bottom corner. He beats an All-American netminder in McNaney to his stick side at the bottom corner. That ball is flying. He's moving. He's just completely different with regards to his skill set than every player in college lacrosse.
Looked like McNaney almost got that left foot on it. Might have even gotten a piece of it and jettisoned the ball straight up into the net. Either way, as we get close to the 2-minute mark right here, Naso gets a much-needed face-off win after the loose ball hold. And Duke has been efficient. We mentioned the 0 turnovers on 8 shots and 4 goals here.
I think what's big for them is O'Neal getting into the mix early. When he gets into the mix early, he can explode. If you hold him at bay for the first quarter or two, sometimes he could disappear. When he's feeling it, it can snowball for an offense.
Now Zawada on Ajax. Gets a pick, gets free momentarily. Johnston with a nice catch. First time we've mentioned Ben Johnston's name. Here's Zawada. Up top, here's Johnson. He'll shoot the bouncer. McNaney gobbles it up. Final minute of this first quarter. Chance for Maryland here. Unsettled situation. Maltz has his pass deflected and stolen by Jake Caputo, the veteran.
That's a brutal turnover because Maryland could have held for that last shot. The shot clock was bigger than the game clock. And now you give Duke an opportunity to go up 4. That will drive John Tillman bonkers.
Duke is really mixing up personnel here at Clark. You mentioned McAdory in the midfield, play some attack. You just saw Dyson Williams come out of the box. McAdory, head up. O'Neal over to the far side and Tenenza. Tries to squeeze it inside, and behind the back goes Williams. With 4.2 remaining in the first quarter.
His hands are gold. His awareness is next level. Caputo with the turnover, gobbles it up, gives this offense another opportunity. I said it was danger zone for John Tillman because you give this Duke offensive team another opportunity late in the first quarter. They'll make it count. You know what I love about that, Cotter? He catches this ball lefty. He knows if he shoots it lefty, he's going into the teeth of the defense. He'll get checked there. So instead, he catches it, and he goes around the world, increases his angle, but it also shades himself from defensive pressure.
208 career goals. Horn sounds ending what was a very fruitful first quarter for the Duke Blue Devils. Coach Stanowski has to be pleased as he signals his team to come over to the huddle. The coaches met before the game. They know each other well, but it's been the Blue Devils early, 5-1 after one. The efficiency for the Duke Blue Devils has been ridiculous. 10 shots, 5 goals, 0 turnovers. And you see what they've done when they've gotten the lead early. They don't look back.
They're the second best team in the country when it comes to shooting percentage. The only team better, guess who? Notre Dame. They make it count. That's why I said at the end of that first quarter, that turnover was huge because John Tillman knew exactly what he was staring at, giving Duke the ball again.
Can Maryland get one back here quickly? Weirman's doing yeoman's work at the faceoff dot. McDonald will take the shot and it's high.
One thing Ron Caputo does a lot defensively, he's the coordinator for Duke, is he'll short stick attackman and get another pull on the perimeter. Daniel Kelly, 45 in black in that first quarter, was getting the short stick. We've seen him do that against Peyton Cormier from Virginia. And he has the shorties to do it too. He's got these animals like Aiden McGuire on the ball who can lock you down.
Hits the far pipe, Urksa, but gets it right back. That was a good look by Spanos. Now Spanos with it again. Syracuse far side. Weirman's still in there setting picks. Now he'll check out. And Molliver will come in. Charlie O'Connor is in guarding Molliver. Urksa back up top to Spanos. Far side to Syracuse. He'll use a Maltz pick to try and get free, and he does. He'll step down, and the bouncer scores.
Syracuse caught Jamison here. Syracuse is one of Maryland's most two-handed midfielders, can go lefty or right. This time, he keeps it in his left hand, and it looks like Jamison gets a piece at first. I don't love the lack of explosiveness on that shot from Jamison, though. You see that his step is too late. The step is almost as the ball hits his stick. The step should be as the ball's approaching. You attack at the release, you make contact with the ball. And although he got a piece, I thought his form was a little off on that one.
Syracuse's 16th of the year. And Weirman has now won 6 of 9 faceoffs. He's doing all he can do now to keep Maryland in this game, trailing by 3 here in the early going in the second quarter.
When you have that in your back pocket, the belief is always there for a run. And that's the beauty of faceoffs.
Urksa.
Why he's getting into the body of Kenny Brower is besides me. I mean, Kenny Brower outweighs him by probably 30 pounds. Urksa is one of the fastest guys out there.
Good look to Maltz. The Maryland crowd ignites here at Shuart Stadium. Flag on the play. Let's ensure that it's wiped off. And we'll go face it off.
Maltz is a functional crease guy. Finds seams in a defense and can make it count. Urksa gives it up. Whittier draws the eyes of the defense and then just the patented finish. This is a nice move by Whittier. As he senses a slide, you see Maltz is following where the slide's coming from. And watch the release here, high to low. You change a little level, you get a flag. Now you can cash in, and when you have Luke Weirman, this is where a run can happen. 2 goals in 33 seconds.
Got a late hit against Jake Wilson. He'll serve that penalty, so the goal is good. And the Terps will be up a man for a minute.
This is huge for Maryland because you weathered a storm. Maryland has not been good in the first quarter this year. They're minus 2.5 on the season. Duke is plus 47.
Yeah, Maryland came into this game with a man up at about 36.5%, but they were 1 for 1 against Princeton. Another one of those situations, Clark, where things got better last week. Let's see if they can continue that trend. On the far pipe, Molliver just couldn't bury it. They got what they wanted there.
That's a tough one for Molliver. You catch that, you don't need the accuracy. You almost want to just slam dunk it right at the bottom center part of the cage because Jamison's on the other pipe. You do not need to be pretty with that shot.
McGuire runs to daylight. And now Duke can just take care of their substitutions.
You know, I mentioned the discrepancy for Maryland, and one of John Tillman's strengths is adjustments, right? You see him on the iPad and you're wondering what he's doing. He's scheming. So they take a punch in the first quarter all season and then they respond. He will make adjustments throughout the course of this game.
Duke was able to kill off that man down. Even strength for O'Neal. Got the short stick on him. He's hungry. Save made by McNaney. 6 saves. Maryland is a team of runs. We've seen it all year long, Card. Last week against Princeton, we saw it early. They took the lead and never looked back. Or I should say Weirman was a huge part of that.
Weirman was. I thought they attacked from behind the cage as well as they had all season long. We haven't seen that today yet. You got to get guys like Molliver behind. Chorus was inverting. Obviously, Spanos with the 4 goals. So many of those opportunities were initiated from right here.
Murphy on the shorty. Soaks a wrap check. Tried to get the pass to the far side, but Jamison was too quick.
Murphy's not one of those guys that you will traditionally see from behind. He's an above the goal shooter.
Chris Cotter, Paul Carcaterra with you here in Hempstead, New York. Notre Dame has already advanced to next weekend's championship weekend semifinals with the win over Georgetown. Dyson Williams, too quick. 6-3 Duke here as the Blue Devils are trying to join the Fighting Irish, next week.
We're seeing this a common theme. A turnover by Maryland, resulting in a Duke goal. Normally, Dyson Williams has to work hard inside to find that big of a seam. This time, too many Maryland shirts are discombobulated there. They're all following the ball. No one is beat. I don't know why they're sliding. I don't know why they're helping to Zawada there. They're filling there, and they're leaving one of the most deadliest shooters in college lacrosse history right on the porch.
Now just 3 goals behind Duke great Justin Gutterding on the all-time list. Brower picks up the loose ball and gets possession of Duke. He tries to shovel it forward to Henry Barr. Now it's a loose ball situation. Picked up by Maryland.
You know, when you think of this contest, we mentioned Luke Weirman could be a huge X factor and Logan McNaney, but you also have to play really smart lacrosse. And we've seen too many times in this contest from Maryland, a team that probably can't win a scoring match with Duke, right? Duke has too many weapons. You want to win this game 11-9. You can't win this game 18-16. So the way to do it is play mistake-free. You can't have these turnovers on easy transfers.
Maltz, the extra pass, but Jamison makes the save. Second save of the game for Jamison, and easily his best.
And that was a good one. You saw the explosive top hands swooping across to the bottom corner. He was on that one.
Before that last Maryland possession, that was Duke's first turnover of the day. They've done a very good job taking care of the ball. Max Sloat beats Logan McNaney. 7-3 Blue Devils.
How would the freshman Patrick Jamison handle his first big spot in an NCAA tournament? First quarter, not tested too much. Second quarter, this one is gobbled up by the freshman, and then the sophomore Sloat. I love the future Duke midfield with Sloat and Johnson. 15 and 19 are two monsters, big body guys who can get down the alley with their left and their right. The future is bright in Durham. Body blow, it's body blow by the Duke Blue Devils. Can Maryland respond? Hopkins won that first battle in March down in Charlottesville, 16-14. Virginia's a team after losing 4 straight. I thought they looked really good last week against St. Joe's.
Weirman again, and he scores again. We talked about it during the break, Carc. He's giving Maryland every opportunity to stay in this game. He scored 2 goals. He's winning the battle at the face-off dog. They just got to take care of the ball and be more efficient on offense. They have 7 turnovers today.
What a lacrosse player. Scored in the first quarter with his right hand. This time he sees a seam in the alley to go left. Win it, go righty, go lefty, keeping your team in it. A lot of times in NCAA tournament play, you rely on senior leadership to get it done. Luke Weirman is doing his part. The rest of the team needs to rally behind 52 in black.
When it was 3-0 in this game, Weirman scored 8 seconds after the Blue Devils made it 3-0. He just scored 8 seconds after Sloat's goal.
Well, we talked during the break. Maryland can be in this game. It's the turnovers that are killing them. They had 6 in the first quarter. When you talk to John Tillman, that's one of the first things he says about the up and down play of the Terps in 2024. The turnovers. It's crushing a team. It takes away from their offensive identity. Yeah, they don't have the alpha like a Jared Bernhardt or a Logan Wisnauskas, but when you turn the ball over at that level, you never allow your team really to get into a flow offensively.
Denenza. McAdory, too high. Watch out. Midway point of this second quarter. Zawada. Got a pick. Behind the back, and Williams couldn't bury that one, but it stays with Duke as O'Neal backs him up. 28 seconds to shoot for the Blue Devils. Jackson Canfield is checking O'Neal. Sloat shoots on the outside of the cage. McNaney goes out to pick it up.
Stop at number 15, Max Sloat.
I don't know, your card. Maryland scores here. As Q always says, there's belief. Suddenly there's belief that you've taken Duke's punches here in the first half and you've survived. Tills wants to talk things over. He knows this is a huge possession.
Is that really a Q thing, belief?
He just always,
a lot of people
he always says that, though. Q is always like, there's belief.
with his readers down on the bottom part of his nose.
Almost like he was still in 8th grade chorus.
Yep.
He was all Nassau County in chorus, by the way. We screwed that up in the first game.
No, not we, you.
Oh, I did, yeah. I'm
don't
sorry.
put it on me.
I thought he was clarinet, and he said, no, I never played the clarinet. I was an all-county chorus as a young man.
All right, this is where the iPad comes into play. Everyone asks, why is John Tillman on the iPad so much? Well, he soaks it in the first quarter, and then he makes his adjustments. They're not a good first quarter team. They respond in the second quarter. And he's looking at that iPad right now because each 6-on-6 half-field set, offensively and defensively, he's seeing what his team's doing, he's seeing what the other team's doing, and then he finds holes. So where's the hole right now for Maryland offensively, who has the ball? I think you have to attack from behind. You can't be dodging these short stick D-middies that are monsters for Duke up top or hanging on goal line extended. You have to use the space behind the cage and get them out of their elements.
You see Jesse Bernhardt, defensive coordinator with his defense. Maryland's down 3, and probably the biggest reason is Luke Weirman. He's won 8 of 13, and he's got a couple of goals.
He's the most prolific face-off specialist in Maryland lacrosse history, but he's also a dandy of a lacrosse player who can score with the right hand. He can do it with the left. He's the ultimate weapon for John Tillman. He was an under-recruited player out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. Originally committed to Fairfield University. There was a coaching change there. John Tillman came in, swooped him up, and he got better and better every single year.
Coming out of the timeout, Maryland, big possession. Weirman's giving them opportunities to put together some sort of a run here. Urksa shows that speed, gets it to Maltz. Now Maltz in the corner. Working on O'Connor. Defense switches. Now McGuire's on him. Far side. Chorus. Nowhere to go with it. As a matter of fact, he lost it for Zoli. With the strip. Loose ball push. Goes to Duke. So Maryland's 8th turnover of the day coming out of a timeout. Didn't even get a shot on goal coming out of that timeout either. Has to be disappointing for Tills. Can Duke make him pay on this end? Johnston on Stamos. Back to his left hand, gets it free. The bouncer, McNaney with the save.
That's a great stop by Logan. That's offside hip. That's one of the toughest saves to make as he races down this ball. He could be in trouble here. I'll tell you why, Cotter, because you don't know at that spot to go under or over to make the stop.
Another turnover, costly in the middle of the field.
I mean, you're handing them this game on a platter.
Get a great save on one end, and now you got to do it all over again.
This Duke offense is way too prolific to give multiple opportunities, one after another, on a defense that eventually, when you turn the ball over at this level, is going to be gassed.
Fresh legs for Duke and Pappendick. Here's Zawada. Far side to Johnston. Balsamo scored a goal, first goal of the game for the Blue Devils. Balsamo can't get free, gets it to Zawada behind the cage. Zawada wants a pick here on Zappatello. Zapp comes under it though. Williams couldn't handle the pass. Canfield loses it.
Another turnover.
O'Neal using that big physical body in the ride, got it back to the Blue Devils.
A lot of times you see Duke will drop in a ride. They're less aggressive in terms of their attackmen getting after it. That time, O'Neal put the full gas on him.
I think it was like an O'Neal and Shuart, a sandwich up top. Here's O'Neal. Balsamo far side, Johnston. Maryland defense has got to be gassed here. They've been on the field for a long time trying to defend this prolific offense. Johnston lights it up wide. Maryland finally gets it back. Can they keep it? That's the question.
We see their fans underneath us, almost like a sigh of relief, standing up and clapping. Because everyone in the stadium knew too many opportunities for Duke. Who can win a matchup? That's the question. Maliver was able to do it last week against Princeton. Spanos was. Neither have we seen a dodging presence from those two.
Here's Spanos working on Bard. Up top to Urkso. He'll look to attack and use that speed. Brennan. To the far side and Siracusa. Skip pass, Brennan shoots. Jamison with the foot save. Siracusa trying to track it down. And it's picked up by Zappatello. So Siracusa stays back, Zappatello joins the attack.
What a heady play by Zappatello. You see him looking off Siracusa to see if he was on sides. What a heady play by one in black. That was the look for Brennan. It's actually a good shot low and away. A kick save by Jamison. Brennan has struggled with his shooting as well. Only 12% on the season. If Maryland could get one here, Cotter, 2 goals is nothing when you have Luke Weirman in your back pocket.
So it's Maltz directing traffic, wants a pick. Just checked as his hands got free. It's a shot though, and it'll stay with Maryland and Urkso.
You gotta love the athletic ability of Jack Gray and the rest of these short sticks. Probably the best unit in college lacrosse in terms of those guys playing defense from the midfield.
Stepped out Siracusa, scores!
When you're a senior, you've seen it all. Ajax Zappatello tight-roping the midline here. Should I go, should I stay? He knows now he's got a player back. That ground ball gave Siracusa, who I said was a two-handed player. Remember his first goal was lefty on the run? This time righty hugging the pipe. And I thought Duke didn't need to slide off of Siracusa there. No one was beat. Hold your matchups. Maryland isn't beating you one-on-one right now. You created offense for the Terps.
2 in a row for the Terps. Chorus tracks down the GB in the middle of the field. Weirman stays on. Gets it back to Chorus. Now he'll check out. Maliver and Murphy will come in. Final minute of this first half. Shot clock irrelevant. Can Maryland close it to within 1? Murph. Loses his stick. Another great check by Carpenter. And now it's Duke the other way. He passes in front. Williams scores! What a turn of events. From potentially 1 goal down to 3 in the blink of an eye.
He's going to stalk you. Murphy, you drop something, and in transition, Tyler Carpenter knows where Dyson Williams is, and I think Dyson Williams holding that cut to the last second is the reason why he's wide open. because Canfield's on the bottom left corner with him, Cotter. And Williams is holding that until the last second when he knows he can take that pass from Tyler Carpenter, who's putting on a show.
Williams, 4th of the game. Carpenter with the assist. The lead is 3. Naso and Weirman. You don't see this very often in today's game. A stalemate. You get a hold. Loose ball hold goes against Maryland. Can Duke find another one here in the final 15 seconds? We'll get a timeout from Coach Danowski. What a turning point early on in this game, Kark. I mean, you had Maryland with the momentum, a chance to get to within 1 goal. And here comes Carpenter and Williams stretching it to 3, and now with possession here coming out of a timeout, chance to make it a 4-goal advantage.
Not like 3 little kids right now. I think he's missing the joke.
Those days are over. 16 left. Here's O'Neal.
Give it to the best player from a skill set standpoint in college lacrosse and let him cook.
Picked off. One final shot, high as the horn sounds. Inefficient first half of lacrosse for the Duke Blue Devils. McNaney and Zapp hanging in there. But it's Duke with the 3-goal advantage going to the break. We're going to look back at our first game of the day, look forward to tomorrow's action in the quarterfinals when we come back at the half. Duke up 3 at the break.
You know, Carpenter was drafted by the PLL Atlas, and I think his senior year was a season that increased his stock because we've seen him play up top as a long stick midi. Ronnie Caputo, defensive coordinator, has played him at close defense. So Mike Pressler, who runs the New York Atlas as the coach and GM, he has some tools to play with in terms of where he wants to flex Tyler Carpenter.
Weirman and Naso. We expected a big battle, and it has materialized. Weirman has a 9-6 advantage, make it 10-6 as we start this second half.
He's got the 10-6 advantage, but when you score goals off of the face-off, that makes you feel like it's more of a dominant performance, and he had 2 in the first half.
And he just set the career ground ball record in Maryland history, and that is a long and distinguished history.
Oh yeah, Andy Claxon not on top in that category anymore, and Luke Weirman owns the face-off wins record as well at the University of Maryland. Got a broken stick here.
As the official just chucks it away, Syracuse are trying to take advantage of it. Here's Chorus. Good catch by Syracuse, the extra pass to Urxa, and it's high.
That was a good catch by Syracuse, and Maryland has to do a better job of getting the ball into their players' sticks, because if he catches that right up by his ear, there's even more time on the backside to find time and room to shoot and let it spray.
Here's Maltz with under 10 seconds to shoot. Spanos gets a really good look, but it's deflected by Caputo. No, actually, I'm sorry, that was saved by Jamison, so a reset on the shot clock. That's a great deal for Maryland there. Jamison did make the save. Fresh 60 for the Terps. Here's Molliver. Over to Whittier. He's now inverted and looks to come upfield. Absorbs a check by Jack Gray. Stovall. 44 in black. Good athlete. Now behind the cage is Spanos. Bard is all over him. Staying with him. Nowhere to go for Spanos to Stovall, near side to Maltz. Maltz looking to attack on the shorty. Tried to pass it in front. Stovall couldn't handle the ground ball. That's another unforced turnover. But they may get it right back. And they will as Spanos tracks it down.
The one thing I've noticed about Spanos today, and I'd like to hear from you as well, when we watched him against Princeton last week, his feet never stopped. I'm watching him dodge today, and his feet are stopping too much.
Yeah, he certainly hasn't had the effectiveness he had last week against Princeton when he was dominant.
He was, but he was flying all over the offensive sets, specifically behind the cage, and using some stop and goes, but they were quicker. They weren't post-ups, and you can't post up against a Duke defense. They're too strong individually.
Maltz will shoot and score. I was just thinking before Maltz scored there, Cart, that of Maryland's 5 goals, 2 of them were Weirman off the face-off. They just need to get more production from the offensive personnel, and Maltz answers the call.
What plagued Maryland in the first half, Duke is taking some of that juice, and it's not the right kind. A basic transfer from the defensive end gives this Maryland offense another opportunity, and then your defense starts getting tired, Cotter. Daniel Maltz with an incredible bounce shot to the upper corner. Little swim move, gets the separation, and Caputo loses his stick, so as he crosses over, the sticks get caught. Danny Maltz, mustache and all, pounds that corner.
He's 24th on the season, 2nd on the day. Maltz missed a couple of games as well on the year, so getting him back at 100% is big. Another face-off win for Maryland. McDonald now. Back to Weirman.
Tell you what, Cotter, you don't want a John Tillman team to hang around. Give them belief. You let him continuing to poke holes.
That'll hurt though.
Pick.
Yep. Back to Carpenter and Duke. That's 13 turnovers on the day.
Maryland will have to play cleaner. 20 turnovers is like what drives a coach nuts. When you hear that number, 20 on a day, not good.
O'Neal. Gialy on Canfield gets it behind to Zawada. Zawada's been checked by Zapp all game long. Here's Denenza up top. McAdory. O'Neal draws a lot of attention.
There's the early slide on O'Neal. When Zappatello isn't guarding him, which he hasn't all day, it's not a mano-a-mano matchup. It's a defend with Canfield and early help.
Here comes Denenza, 15 to shoot. O'Neal.
There's the double, there's the early help. They're forcing him to think pass.
Shot clock winding down, he just has to let it go. And it's a shot clock violation. Maryland crowd in attendance loving it. Dino perplexed.
You see it, Cotter, though? I think everyone coming into this matchup would think, oh, it's best defender against best offensive player. It's a chess match also if you're John Tillman. You take the distributor, Zawada, out of the mix with Zappatello. That's where the ball transfers through at X. He's out of the mix. You put Canfield on O'Neal with an early double, that time at 1.
Where does the offense come from? Is it Maltz, who has 2 already today, looking for the hat trick, sends it wide. Maryland keeps possession with 48. Urksa gets the switch, then gets it back to Maltz. Maltz wants to give it back, so now Urksa has the short stick matchup. Wants to use that speed and quickness up top. Siracusa shoots it high. You saw this a lot in the first game, Carc, where we had Georgetown and Notre Dame. Georgetown could not take advantage of good-looking offensive opportunities, missing the cage early. Finally got going in the fourth quarter, but it was too late.
But what's keeping Maryland in is Luke Weirman. Georgetown didn't have James Ball healthy, so the lead just evaporated, right, in terms of Georgetown's favor.
10 to shoot here for Maryland, and Spanos swims under the defender. Now he shoots. Jamison is there. Did not have much of a shot, did he?
He had no angle, and then the pressure came. It was a well-timed help slide by Duke.
And now Johnston will put it in play for the Blue Devils. Here's Balsamo. Johnston. Gobbled up by McNaney.
You rarely see a shot that shouldn't go in on Logan McNaney. He's so sound in terms of his technique. Yeah, there are games he doesn't make the show-stopping type save, but rarely do you see bad shots go.
8 saves on the day for McNaney. An opportunity once again for Maryland to close the gap to 1.
One of the adjustments John Tillman made from first half to now is Daniel Kelly was playing 45 in black. When Ron Caputo, defensive coordinator for Duke, shorted him, he changed the lineup, put Urksa, who was playing midfield, back to attack.
Chorus thought about winding it up. Here's Siracusa, back to his left. Loses it. Still on the turf, picked up by Maryland, though. Here's Molliver on the wing. Urksa. Teammate falls down trying to set a pick. Maltz shoots it wide.
Number 37, Daniel Maltz.
12 seconds to shoot.
So Maltz is being short stick, but you saw him score unassisted on his last goal against Caputo.
Spanos. Bard doing an outstanding job on him. 4 to shoot. Course has got to get something going quickly. Nothing. Fourteen turnovers. Midpoint of the third quarter.
And you're only down 2.
O'Neal. That was almost down 3 because Tyson had that one right on the doorstep, but he couldn't handle it. This ball going to go Maryland's way.
If you're a Terp fan and you hear that number midway through the third quarter, you're losing your mind, because you know, down 2 against this Duke team, if you played clean lacrosse, you'd be winning right now.
Urksa.
I would like to see Urksa from that bottom corner just speed dodge, get into a foot race with Kenny Brower.
Kelly up top to Siracusa. Nice move to get his right hand free, but an even better move defensively by Duke. Now Jamison's out of the goal. O'Connell checks it, tracks it down though. O'Connor, and back to Duke. McGuire, he can run like the wind. Look at 23 in white. Part of what you said, Carc. One of the best defensive midfield units, maybe the best in all of college lacrosse.
And McGuire is probably the one player in a great unit that has the most upside. I mean, I look at him as a potential player wearing red, white, and blue one day. I mean, he is physically so gifted. Crazy vertical jump, strength in the weight room, great lacrosse skills, can score in transition.
Got to get a procedure call against O'Neal, who lost the stick.
McGuire's the type of guy you'd like to throw steel around.
Right,
with.
well, think about this. If he can be a D midi for Team USA one day, Last year in San Diego, they probably had the greatest group of team meetings in the history of organized lacrosse.
Well, those guys will get older. McGuire will continue to hit the weight room like you will. Let's tell everyone, too, what happened today. Your traps, and this is not a joke, are so big, I had to actually do your tie today. with the flaps of the collar, you couldn't reach. You couldn't reach.
I know, I couldn't put my collar down. It's embarrassing. Jamison playing well here in the second half, though. Both these goaltenders are.
Murphy, the save by Patrick Jamison.
Knocked out of bounds. It's going to go to Duke. 6 saves for Jamison. Maryland's hanging in there. They just can't get it to within 1 goal. And Duke is in a cold spell offensively.
The difference, though, right now is you feel like if Duke gets into a flow offensively, they have the players to separate from the Maryland defense. Yeah, if Ajax Zapatel is bottling up Zawada, you still have McAdory, you still have O'Neal, you still have the young middies in Sloat and Johnston. On the flip side, you really haven't seen Maryland offensive players own matchups, draw a slide.
Duke 0 for 2 shooting this quarter. That 8-goal mark that they had to have still stands with 3:41 left to go in the third. So here's Zawada and Zap. Zap comes around the pick. Zawada looked for a cutter and found McAdory, but it was behind him. Big loose ball. Kicked forward by Maryland. O'Neal battling for it. He's going to pick it up. Has the strength to keep it. What a ground ball by O'Neal.
He's made a couple of those dirty plays, right? The ride, the ground ball. You feel like there's a sense of urgency. He's a senior. He's back home on Long Island. Doesn't want this to be the last dance.
Pass was deflected, but with 1 second left on that shot clock, it's going to be a violation against Duke. So the 8th spot remains on the board for the Blue Devils.
Weren't we talking at halftime about adjustments John Tillman will make? I mean, this guy is unbelievable as a coach.
Intercepted, bad pass by McNaney. Here comes McGuire. Williams, that kills him. Another turnover, and Dyson Williams makes him pay.
You want to play with fire? You'll get burnt. 16 turnovers for the Terps. It's only a matter of time where it comes back to haunt you. It's a turnover, it's McGuire to a player on the left side of goal line extended is borderline automatic. You know, Virginia is a lot like Duke and Maryland. You don't know what team you're going to get, right? Well, inconsistent play when they're at their best. They're awfully scary because they have the combination of Schellenberger and Cormier, who are lethal offensive players, and they looked the part last week. That team was buzzing against St. Joe's. I think a hard one to put a finger on, too, is Syracuse against Denver.
Yeah.
Ball movement offenses don't rely heavily on dodging. Ball moves at hyperspeed with both of those units.
Interesting face-off matchup there, too. A two-headed monster with Syracuse against Stathakis and Denver. Another face-off win for Weirman. Maryland just cannot get this thing down to within 1 goal. This final 2 minutes, this third quarter is important here, Carg. Is it a 2-goal advantage for Duke heading into the fourth, or is it 4?
It's a great point.
That seems like a big difference.
Against a Maryland offense that's not really generating a ton of looks in the 6-on-6 set. I mean, think about it. 2 of the 6 goals are Weirman off the face.
Right. It has been tough sledding offensively for Maryland all game long. Syracuse are trying to change that, but they have gotten nothing easy. Here's Brennan. Trying to get to Spanos behind the cage, and he does. Bard has done a really nice job on Spanos today. 20 to shoot. Syracuse double teams. Just nowhere to go. What's the plan here offensively for Maryland, Clark? Now 5 seconds. Now it's going to be desperation time. And Moliver's going to have to make it happen. Gets it to Brennan, who scores! That's a huge goal as the shot clock winds down to 0. I guess that was the plan.
Monster goal, Cotter. The plan, I've been saying it all day long, and last week against Princeton was attack from behind with Chorus, Moliver, and Spanos. But they waited too deep in the shot clock, so it was desperation mode. But they still found an opportunity with Jack Brennan, who hits the back of the net, shooting only 12% this season. As a shooter, you can't think of the past. It's the present. And Jack Brennan capitalizes.
Only his 3rd on the season, Clark, and it's huge. And at 1:14, here we go again with Weirman. Possession again to Maryland. Shot clock not a factor. Weirman is 13 of 19 on the game.
Monster goal by Brennan. National championship year in 2022, he had 13 goals. He was a big piece of that midfield. Everyone ate that year. I mean, that ball moved. It was clinic-like.
It just mowed through the competition before Cornell really gave him a battle in the championship game at an undefeated season. Now they're looking to get back. Erksa comes upfield. That's Stovall. Got the cutter here, the shot just steered aside by Jamison.
That was good offense. I like the cut by Erksa. I think the reason why he sailed that wide is he didn't turn his shoulders enough at the goal when he caught it.
Chorus. Not a Spanos. Too high.
Now by number 7, Eric Spanos.
21 seconds, or rather 12.6 in this 3rd quarter. Spanos has a cleat issue. Let's get that cleat back on. Maryland out shooting Duke in this quarter, 12-3, Clark.
Duke only has the 1 goal off a turnover from McNaney right into...
That was McGuire.
Yeah, McGuire's stick catches the ball and he throws it down to the low left side, and Dyson Williams, that's the only offense they had.
Let's see what Stovall can do here. 10 seconds. He's gonna have to get it in front of the goal in a hurry. Isn't gonna get there. Wasted possession to end that 3rd quarter, and you know that has to make Coach Till's a little disappointed as we head to the 4th. Maryland's hanging in there. Can they ultimately close the gap? Down 2 as we head to the 4th.
Got to find possessions. If you're Duke, you're getting dominated at the face-off X. So Maryland's turnovers are leveling the playing field. If you're Maryland, you're dominating the face-off X, and you're saying to yourselves, if we didn't turn the ball over, this would be a completely different game. They're allowing Duke to get dominated at the face-off X, but still control the tempo of the game.
And yet here we are with Duke leading by 2, an advantage that they have kept for so much of this game. And again, just a missed catch gives it right back to Duke. Simple plays. That's 17 turnovers on the game. And we're just starting the 4th quarter. Frizzoli scoops up the GB here. Now he loses his stick. Spanos with the check.
You gotta find ways to make plays like that if you're Eric Spanos. The defense has buckled their chin straps. Props to Jesse Bernhardt, the defensive coordinator, and John Tillman, the head coach, for making adjustments, holding Duke to 1 goal in the 3rd quarter. But you can't have that unit play gassed.
Spanos has 0 points on 3 shots on the game. I know you've of a lot of people expected a lot more from 7 and Black, but he's got a 4th quarter ahead. It's the only one that matters right now. Urksa loses his footing, gets back up. Brower's done an outstanding job on Braden Urksa. Here's Siracusa, has a shot and scores! He's been big today.
He's been better than big. He's been huge, and his story is awesome. Maryland hunkers down on the ride. The double team, Spanos with the ground ball, and then Siracusa, who came to College Park as a scout team player for multiple years, never lost faith, continued to work on his craft. 3 goals today. 2 with the right hand, 1 lefty. Senior out of Atlanta, Georgia, has been the most consistent midfielder throughout the course of the year.
It is a 1-goal game for the first time since it was 1-0. Duke on top in the 1st quarter.
They needed Siracusa to step up huge in the 6-on-6 set. He's the one player that's getting separation from his defender. You know, Jack Corus is their best overall midi, but he has to play all over the field. In a 6-on-6 set, I said it earlier, who is going to win the matchup? Right now, the only player who's done it multiple times for the Terps is Ryan Siracusa.
Slow to McAdory. Up top to O'Neal. Denenza. Back to Sloat. Here comes Denenza. Back to O'Neal. With 32 to shoot. O'Neal shoots it wide.
Stop at number 34.
Little change of release points there too. His 2 prior goals lefty were more 3-quarter. This time went straight underhand.
McAdory on Burles. Denenza stands pat to give him an assist. Now Denenza gets it back. Zawada, he shoots, kick save by McNaney, and it kicks away from him. And the officials are going to get together on this one, and they're going to give it over to Maryland.
The question was it still a shot?
Right, and who was closest to it then when it went beyond the end line? I think that's the call that was made, Cart. 9 saves on the day from McNaney, none bigger than that one.
And you thought there might be a rebound opportunity for Dyson Williams. So it looks like Dyson Williams potentially kicked that ball out of bounds.
Take another look at it. First the kick save, Dyson here. That's the kick, purposely kicked it, right? Maltz, bouncer, too high, backed up by Spanos. Maryland can tie the game for the first time since the opening faceoff when we were 0-0. Spanos gets a step on Bard, hits the pipe. Fresh 60 for Maryland. We're all tied up.
Hanging around, Terp Nation rise. That's 3 in a row for the Terps. Cotter, you called it, that critical moment at 9-7. It was Siracusa with a brilliant right-handed dodge. Braden Urksa to Mr. Everything, Jack Corus. Wow, we have a ball game.
And look at the stands if you get a shot at it. After we get possession here, big battle in the middle of the field. It's going to be won by Maryland. The Maryland fans are all on their feet on one side, and the Duke fans in blue are all sitting down.
This is why you did not want Maryland to hang around.
Look at that shot. That is telling right there.
Maryland has Luke Weirman, Cotter. This is why you did not want to get into a slugfest in the fourth quarter.
Flag on the field. This is going to be a delayed call against Duke. Rustelin, our statistician, says it's offside. I'm going to take his word for it. Maltz. Try to get it to Maltz down low. It's picked up by Spanos. Here's Whittier. Still in play, and Dirksen scores! Terps lead for the first time today.
That's 4 in a row. You have a free play because of the offsides. Penalty will be wiped because of the goal. Duke is searching for answers to stop the bleeding. The ball is finally bouncing Maryland's way. It was turnover after turnover. Now Urksa is Johnny on the spot. And dare I say, the Terps are leading in this ball game.
They hung around and hung around, and Weirman has given them every shot to get back into it, and now they lead at the 10-16 mark. The fans are into it, and the Duke fans are shell-shocked. They don't know what's happened. McGuire picks up that GB. Duke needs a goal in the worst way just to get things back on even keel here.
They have one in the second half. It's a Dyson Williams goal off a scramble on a blown clear. On a pass from Aiden McGuire.
Kark, we've asked the question so many times this year, why does Duke go into these funks? Why does Duke, especially offensively with that much firepower, why do they have these scoreless droughts?
I think today it's a combination. One is John Tillman and Jesse Bernhardt, the defensive coordinator, the adjustments that they've made. But they've also controlled the possession clock in this second half, keeping it away from Duke. If I am Duke, I am attacking from behind with Andrew McAdory. I think he has a matchup, and he has the speed to separate. And here's the matchup we all were waiting for off the top. Best against best.
And now help comes. Behind to Balsamo. He'll try and attack the shorty. Only 3 to shoot. Williams shoots and scores as the shot clock winds down. You talk about a shot in the arm. Williams gives it to him.
Late in the shot clock. 2 players in college lacrosse, or I'll make it 3, that you cannot lose. Jake Taylor from Notre Dame. Peyton Cormier from Virginia, and that man right there, Dyson Williams. Charles Balsamo, almost desperation, but it's a great pass with his right hand to find Williams. The shot has to leave his stick. Doesn't have to cross the goal line before it hits 0.
Off the far pipe. His 6th of the game.
Slide off of someone else if you're Maryland. That's their one massive mistake in the second half. You can't leave these inside guys under 5 seconds, under no circumstances. Let the guy who has the ball win his matchup. Balsamo wasn't beating the shorty there.
Loose ball push against Duke on the face-off. We are all knotted up at 10 as we approach the midway point of this fourth quarter. Duke has only taken 6 shots in the entire second half so far. Dyson has converted on 2 of those 6 for their only 2 goals since halftime.
He's got 6 on the afternoon.
That one was massive. How does Maryland respond? Spanos behind the cage on Bard. Gets it back to Syracuse. Urksa. Now he's being checked by Carpenter. Carpenter gets checked off on the pick, so McGuire's on Urksa. The quickness and speed, and he takes advantage of it.
He's got the feet. He's got the skill. He's got the Terps up 1 in a classic battle of old school ACC lacrosse. Urksa capitalizes.
$7:50 remaining in this 4th quarter, and what a 4th quarter it has been, Kark. Maryland storming back in this game to take the lead.
The offense came alive. Ryan Syracuse attacking the pole, taking matters into his own hand. The placement on the shot by Jack Corus. The rebound off a scrum out front by Urksa. Look at the shot location right there on a lefty goalie. 6 Gs on the day. The difference in this dodge, he never stops at goal line extended. Braden Urksa and Eric Spanos have been playing into the strengths of the Duke defense in allowing to play the muscle game. That time, he played the speed game and his feet were too much.
Maryland, the big story in this game coming into this 4th quarter, the turnovers that they had committed in the first 3. 16 turnovers through 3 quarters. They've only committed 1 here in the 4th quarter, and it's been a huge difference. And Weirman continues to win faceoffs. He's now won 17 and lost only 8. It's been a big advantage for the Terps all game long, and it's allowed them to stay in this game and to forge this scant 1-goal advantage.
We knew they had the ingredients to hang around. Did they have enough plays to win it? With Weirman, McNaney, and Zappatello, you had 3 equalizers.
And just as I say that, I curse him. Add another turnover to the already lengthy list. That's 18 on the game. It'll absolutely kill him here, Kark, in the last 7 minutes if they cannot take care of the ball, because eventually, as we just saw there with Dyson, eventually somebody for Duke is going to break through.
And when they went on the run, what weren't they doing? Turning the ball over.
They were keeping it, and now they just turned it over, so let's see if it bites them. Duke has been the one team, other than those 2 Dyson Williams goals, in really unsettled situations. They haven't been able to get anything going. 34. That might change it. Oh, and he does! Yeah. Let that guy change their fortunes. I guess if you're going to pick a guy, you might as well pick him.
About a month ago when I was down in Durham and I was on the field filming through X, which we saw in between these games today, I asked Brendan O'Neill, why don't you use your right hand more? It's lethal, it has smoke, and it will create opportunities. When defenders play you heavy lefty, make them pay righty.
My word. Perfectly placed in the upper right-hand corner. We got a game here, man.
Great.
11-11. 6.5 to go. 2 veteran face-off men giving it everything they've got, knowing the season is on the line. Loose ball hold goes against Maryland. Can Duke make it 2 in a row and retake the lead?
These are the moments for the seniors who will scratch and claw for their careers not to end.
Slow wanted to get it back to O'Neal. It's McAdory here. He gets in a good spot, shoots, save made. McNaney gets it, and the outlet pass beautifully to midfield. McDonald thought better of it. Possession is worth $1 million right now for Maryland. 10 saves on the game for McNaney.
He's not going to flinch, Cotter. Championship game MVP in 2022. The Terps rode his back to an undefeated season, and he closed the door. He's been in these huge moments. And on the other end is just a freshman. Although uber talented, this is his biggest stage for Patrick Jamison.
McGuire keeping Whittier at bay. Beautiful pass to Maltz, and he scores! Where did that pass come from Whittier? It was absolutely gorgeous.
Ice in the veins, the great ones. I think of Blaze Reardon for the Carolina Chaos with the body saves. Elbows, feet, do whatever you have to do to make the stop. It's a clear, and this is a dime of a pass by Whittier. What an incredible through pass by 13 in black to find Maltz, who sets his feet and blasts it by Patrick Jamison, the freshman.
Whittier's second assist on the day, Maltz third goal. Terps back on top. Naso's gonna have to dig deep. Too quick. The face-off violation gives it back to the Terps, who scored on their last 4 shots. Under 5 to go, Maryland up by a goal with the ball. Spanos on Caputo. He's got to like that matchup. Can he take advantage of it? Carpenter showed but didn't go. He's got an eye on him though. Carpenter's coming over and helping out. Spanos loses it. Loose ball. Maryland comes out of there with it. They get the timeout. Coors picked up the GB, and Tills was quick to get the TO.
It's a great timeout by Tillman. You got 33 seconds on the shot clock. You don't take those to the bus with you. You don't just parachute into a big-time moment and own it. Maryland has scored on their last 4 shots on goal.
Jamison is going to have to stand tall. He has 6 saves on the day. His 7th will most likely be the biggest of his career. Maryland up a goal with the ball, coming out of a timeout. Syracuse on the shorty, nowhere to go. Back to his right. Loses his footing, gets it back. He's got Erks up top. 9 to shoot. Erks has got to make something happen. Now Syracuse. He fires. Jamison makes the save. Now looking for the outlet. Did he give it away? They gave it away. So fresh 60 for Maryland. Fresh 80. Check that, because possession had already been gotten by Jamison. So it's 80 seconds to shoot. In a game where Maryland has been guilty of so many turnovers, it's won by Duke. That could be huge in this game. Maryland has 18 on the game, but they've been much better in the second half, and that's what's ignited this comeback. Can they make it a 2-goal advantage? Maltz scores! No, they say no. No goal. The Maryland bench exploded. The officials came in and said no goal.
This has to be a ref challenge.
Inside of 4 minutes.
Yes.
It's got to be a challenge by the officials.
This looked like a goal to me. At first glance, it looked like a goal to me.
Now we got an official timeout. There's a lot going on the field. The red flag is on the field, but it can't be used. Remember, this is the first year for official review where you can have a coach's challenge. So everybody's still getting used to this as part of the norm here in college lacrosse. There is no coach's challenge inside of 4 minutes to go in regulation or overtime, which is where we are right now.
But we have this rule for this moment. It's in the ref's hands, and you got to do the right thing to review it.
Our officials will review it.
The entire ball has to cross the line.
Christopher DeFelice, Alfred Pugh, Patrick Kenny, those are our officials today. Look at it again. Maltz, the bouncer. Hits off of Jamison, off the pipe.
Here's the issue. It looks like it potentially could be hitting the line there, but prior to it, the ball looks like it's deepest prior to dropping and being near the line.
After this right here.
Yes, that's the deepest part. To me, that's where the ball is deepest into the net.
Definitely hits the line, I think, on the bounce. Or is close enough to it to where you can't say it was definitely a goal.
After review, the goal was good.
I think the officials made the right call there.
I do too. It's not where the ball dropped. That ball was deep into the net after it hit the pipe.
This is the look right here.
Yes, that ball is deep into the net.
And then it comes down on the line. Maryland has scored a goal on their last 5 shots. The 2-goal advantage, the largest they've had in the game. 2:43 left to go.
And how about Daniel Maltz, pegged as a crease finisher? His last 2 goals were from range. One from about 8 to 10, and then that one 10 to 12. And he changed his levels. He used the turf.
He's got 4 on the day.
He's been incredible.
As has Luke Weirman. Jake Naso, an All-American. The officials continue to make sure the clock is all right. So that's what they're looking at right now. The goal is good. They want to make sure they get the clock right.
Yep.
And obviously that's the right decision.
What a shot. 3:03 to game clock. And there was 43 seconds left. Like John Tillman's probably saying, Daniel, no,
yes.
Yes.
Like when somebody who shouldn't be shooting a 3-point shot, like the late Manute Bol. Remember when he would spot up for 3? Oh, come on, Manute. Good! .303 is the clock, and that's what we're going to put. Now we've got it, ready to go. How about these 2 face-off warriors, too, waiting for them to set that clock, and now they know this is it. This is the biggest one of the year for them. Maryland's won 18 of 27. Jake Naso from St. Anthony's doesn't get it. Weirman gets possession. And now if you're Maryland, you want to run some of this clock and get a good look late in the shot clock. Do you not, Cart?
Yes, and you have to have backup. The ball and bleeding out that 80-second shot clock is so pivotal. You cannot get a shot off early in the offensive shot clock and not have backup. Backup reigns supreme in this moment.
Syracuse. So Caputo will come out and check him and put pressure on him. Still all kinds of time to shoot. 35 seconds on the shot clock. Cadillac makes a move on McGuire. Just want to run some clock here. When do you start to make a move to the goal, Card?
Between 15 and 20. So you can get 2 looks if you need it. But if you don't have a good look, you can roll it out and get into your ride and play some base defense.
Syracuse Brennan has a look if he chooses. He shoots it, and Jamison makes the save. Runs out after it. Now he's in trouble in the corner. He needs help. Gets it in the form of McGuire. Minute and a half to play. McAdory comes out of the box, as does Denenza. Dino wants to talk things over. He's got a timeout. He's got both of his TOs on the board. He chooses to use one of them at a minute 32. Let's see where he lines up. Will he be guarding the reigning Shuart winner, Brennan O'Neill, or will he go over to Zawada? He's still on Zawada.
They're keeping it basic. This is what they scheme for. This is what they plan for. They're not changing last second.
It's Will Schaller who's on O'Neill. Sloat. Denenza. Skips it over to O'Neill. Now one-on-one. Against McDonald. The help comes, as it has all game long. Sloat. He shoots. McNaney makes the save. Loose ball in the middle of the field. Picked up by the Terps. Till still has one timeout. If he can get into the offensive end, he can call it, but he won't need to.
That was a brilliant play by Sharkey.
Duke's got to be desperate here. Tills is going to use that last timeout. Up to 40 seconds remaining.
You just felt, though, even when they weren't taking care of the ball and they were turning it over, they were still in the game. You knew if they cleaned up that aspect, they could win this game because they had Luke Weirman, they had Logan McNaney. Daniel Mulst stepped up.
They trailed 8-5 at the half. And now with an empty net. That's going to do it. And it's Cadillac Chorus who sends the Terp crowd into a frenzy and sends Maryland into championship weekend.
Trying to bleed out the clock. Patrick Jamison is out because of the double. Have a corner while you're at it, Chorus. Terp Nation is feeling it. This was a team a couple of weeks ago. A lot of people thought there was no chance at a run at championship weekend.
There are probably people watching this game in the second quarter that thought there was no chance for a run at championship weekend.
Never count John Tillman out.
Seven goals scored by Maryland in the fourth quarter alone in this game. They have completely taken over. Jack Redden sends the ball sky high. The Terps celebrate. Book your trip to the city of brotherly love, Terp Nation. You're going back to championship weekend.
Gas up the RV.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha, Coach Tillman. Coach, congratulations. What was the story with the comeback? How did it come about, and when did you guys start playing the way you thought you needed to play?
Yeah, give Duke credit, man. They're awesome, well coached, very talented. They were kicking our butts in the first quarter, and luckily that second quarter, at least, you know, we dug into the lead a little bit. Would have loved to have not given up that last goal at the second, but, you know, we were just grinded. Wasn't pretty, and that's not who we are this year. We're just a team that battles and fights and scraps, and we got some lucky bounces. The guys, Luke got hot at the X, and then there were some ground balls that kind of went our way, and we got some second chances, and luckily enough threw a few in.
Coach, you and I talk a lot throughout the course of the season. There were a lot of lows with this group. How would you describe their growth?
It's great. You know, like it's all about their journey here for 4 or 5 years. You know, like bad things happen, things don't go your way. It's about what you do next. It's how you handle adversity. It's about sticking together. Even our bus broke down on the way up here, and it was like, hey, teachable moment is things don't go the way you want. It's always about how you handle it, because that's the way life's going to be, right? This is all we're doing is getting them ready for the next 40 years, and this is our classroom. Obviously, it's something they're passionate about, but they got to handle things the right way.
Coach, that was an amazing performance by Luke Weirman. What does he mean to this team? 20 for 29 at the X.
Yeah, so much. We really needed him. We needed his offense early. You know, we were struggling. He got us a couple goals, and then he just kept getting us possessions, and we were not, you know, we just weren't getting any leverage. I thought Coach Phipps made some nice adjustments. We changed some things up. We got a little more rhythm, and you get more rhythm when you get more chances, right? Like, we were not great middle of the third. Duke's super athletic. Ronnie does such a good job with that defense. So I give our guys credit. They just kept battling, and when you got it to 2, you know, it's just a matter of, okay, if you could say in August, if you win basically the 4th quarter, you could go to the Final Four. Would you take it? And that was kind of the mindset, was we just got to win this quarter. And they're such a good team. You know, we knew it would be a battle. I'm just proud of our guys for sticking to it.
You're an amazing coach. You're an amazing leader of young men. Congratulations. We'll see you in Philly, Coach.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Go Terps.
Let's check out today's player of the game. It's brought to you by Capital One. It's Luke Weirman. You mentioned it, Carp. 20 of 29, 2 goals. He kept them in it.
Break out the buzzsaw. He put on a clinic. The most prolific face-off man in Maryland history. It wasn't just about winning the draws. It's about creating offense. Cutting into that lead. 52 in black was magical.
You know, you think about this team at the half, he had 2 of their 5 goals. I mean, he was everything that kept them in the game.
He was the reason why you knew, even when they were down by 3 and they weren't playing well and they were turning the ball over. Luke Weirman was the X factor.
No stranger to championship weekend. 52 in black goes back. The Terps are headed back to championship weekend. They'll join the Fighting Irish earlier today. Notre Dame got the win over Georgetown. So 2 of the 4 teams are known to us. Notre Dame and Maryland. Tomorrow we'll round out championship weekend with 2 more quarterfinal games. Syracuse and Denver at noon, followed by Johns Hopkins and Virginia at 2:30. What a day of lacrosse on the island. Another big day at Towson tomorrow. For Paul Carcaterra and our entire crew, great job, everyone. I'm Chris Cotter. Thanks for watching. Up next, it's 7 Innings Live, presented by Capital One. So long from Hempstead, Long Island. What a day for the Terps.